morning and welcome to Meet Magento Indonesia.
We're going to be looking forward to doing this again next year. In the
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the technical room of Meet Magento 2021 Indonesia. I am Jessie, and I am honored to be your MC for the rest of the day in this virtual room. I was just from the opening session at the main hall where it was brought to you by Mr. Mulyadijo, and I am so amazed by how enthusiastic everybody is in the chat room. So be sure to also bring that enthusiasm into this virtual room. We also have a chat box right next to this broadcast, so you can say hi, welcome everybody who comes in, and just mingle and have fun. As you can see on the next side, we also have a Q&A box. So also to inform you, we will have a Q&A segment after each of the session. Be sure to drop your questions right on the box on the next to this broadcast, because we'll try to get as much as possible after each of the sessions. Now, speaking of, we have 8 intriguing sessions just lining up ahead of us today, and we're gonna quickly just get started with the first one. I suggest you get to the most comfortable corner and just take a good seat and enjoy these upcoming sessions. Let's begin. So to kick things off, we are starting with the topic of PWA from the Adobe Magento team themselves. It's my pleasure to introduce to you to our first speaker of the day, Ms. Olena, who is the product manager of Magento Commerce at Adobe. She will be sharing about the headless commerce with Magento PWA Storefront. I guess it's really time to kickstart the day with an amazing session by Ms. Olena. Please welcome our speaker, Ms. Olena.
Good morning, guys. Hopefully you can hear me. Just let me know. Can you hear me? I hope it's yes. So I'm really happy to join you. Good morning. It's, as you can see on my back, it's still yesterday here in US, but I'm thrilled to be part of the future with you guys. So today I'm gonna talk about headless commerce with Magento PWA Studio. Let me start sharing. Yeah, so PWA is obviously such a buzzword nowadays, and like we all talk about that. And I just want to dedicate this session more of like why at Adobe we recognize that as something that we invest as a next generation storefront, and we convinced that business need to start thinking about that right now. So this is what I'm gonna talk, and okay. Yeah, I'll start with basically like walking through what PWA is and how it's different from headless and single page applications, just to kind of make sure that we are on the same side, on the same page. So basically, historically, we have native apps that require the deployment, that requires device-specific development. And we have the web apps that can be delivered through the browser and across different channels. So obviously, all of these approaches have their own limitations, and PWA is the solution that takes the best of the both of these worlds. So the PWA is basically a website that can operate and provide the experience that is similar to native app, but can be delivered directly through the mobile browser. So essentially, it's headless solution that talks to their backend through the API. It's a single-page application, and it also has specific features that are unique to PWA. So the examples of those features is the installability. So like any native app, though it's still a web application, PWA solution can be installed and leverage smartphone functionality like geolocation, camera access, and push notifications. The PWA solution, unlike other headless solutions, can deliver the experiences in low bandwidth situation, or in some cases even with no connection at all, which enables building the touch points for the markets where the customer are moving between the connection points, and where the internet connectivity is unstable and unreliable. And the case studies shows that PWA with all of that rich experience deliver much higher engagement compared to web application and native apps. So all of that sounds obviously super exciting, and why business need to care about that right now. So let's start with the data that shows that there is a continuous trend of more and more mobile shopping happening. And during the past holiday season, the results show that over 50% of online shopping happened through the mobile devices. But at the same time, we see that experiences that are delivered through the mobile devices are lagging behind, and they are not really leveraging all of the potentials of mobile devices. And in some cases, they are simply not optimized for these devices. So this results in a conversion gap between the cross devices and mobile. So we see that on mobile, the conversion is 30 and sometimes 50% lower than across all devices. So basically, millions of dollars left on the table. And here in Adobe, we recognize the need that to deliver their platform, the storefront, that allow merchants to deliver the experiences that are not just optimized for their mobile devices, but add on top of their desktop experiences and leverage the potential of mobile devices. So what we are essentially solving around PWA is that experiential aspect that causes the conversion drop. And we already made significant progress that I'm going to share with the recent case studies that show that there is a 85% increase in conversion rate compared with the PWA website compared to the traditional storefront. So if we step back and take a look where we started with the monolith system, where the storefront is built with the PHTML templates, layouts, and tightly coupled with the backend. And all of the updates that happened to the storefront required full redeploy of the backend and storefront. That created obviously the overhead for the business to grow and deliver the updates and respond to their customer needs rapidly. We moved to the decoupled state where we are now, where the storefront completely decoupled from the backend and exchange data with the backend through the GraphQL. And we already see that this approach streamlines lots of launches because basically delivering the updates to the storefront can happen separately from the delivering updates to the backend. That enables scenarios like A/B testing with running different experiments and updating the storefront based on the results of those experiments. And ultimately, we are going to the headless state where the Venia storefront is completely decoupled and the GraphQL is also a separate layer from Magento backend. So basically that enables you to work with Magento backend in a familiar way, but at the same time extend and customize to the new areas like the PWA storefront and GraphQL. And what we are moving towards is not something very unique to Magento. This is something that is very much aligned with the industry trend of the composable commerce, where the commerce unit is just another piece in the package of other components that are combined together to deliver the experience that business requires. So the Gartner analysts recognize that the single platform that enables to orchestrate and support experience just beyond the commerce is something that is the future of the composable commerce. And here at Adobe, the well-recognized leader in the experience space, we feel empowered to execute upon that future and deliver the storefront that enables to create those engaging and appealing experiences for the customers. So let me share some of the examples of how the composable future fits into now, not only into the future. So let's start with the right. You see the couple of examples. The tivo.com is basically the AEM shop that used just a mini cart component from the PWA Studio to deliver the shoppable experience to the customers. And the same, basically, the Buffalo Trace, another AEM shop that delivers that shoppable experience with just single component taken from the PWA Studio package. You see the similarity, but at the same time, the components that PWA Studio deliver very customizable and can fit into the requirements of particular store. So when we at Adobe talk about the PWA Studio and PWA in general, we essentially recognize several work streams that I'm going to walk you through. So the first is obviously the storefront itself with the Venia that is the next generation storefront that's gonna replace Luma over time. And the Oasis is the B2B equivalent of the Venia. And if you are familiar with the current reference store brand mail that is used for the B2B use cases, Oasis is basically the next step to that. So we're gonna deliver more just a reference store, but more of a turnkey solution that is ready to use for the B2B customers and gonna be available for the production use next year. And by the end of this year, we're gonna complete the scenarios for the GraphQL support of B2B and B2C. And with the Magento 243, we already released the UI kit. And this is just the beginning that will continue into the integration of the XD files to the Venia theme that enables and streamlines the designer developer workflow around building and extending shopping experiences. Content and authoring is the piece that make the PWA friendlier for the business users. And the integration with Page Builder is something that is available quite a while. And I'm sure that you've all heard about Page Builder currently available for both Adobe Commerce and Magento Open Source that obviously bring the experience of managing PWA storefronts with the Magento Open Source to the next level. And recently we enabled the support of AEM content through the experience fragments integrated to the Venia storefront through the GraphQL. So basically that means that the experiences created with the AEM can be surfaced to the Venia storefront and delivered there in a headless way. So this is another step of that composable future that I was talking about. And the last but not the least here is the infrastructure piece, where we continue growing and evolving to the next generation cloud that will deliver the seamless and optimized experience that you would expect from the first-party solution. So since 2018, the number of launches with PWA Studio and Venia Storefront has grown, and now it includes much more larger and more complex launches. So think of the Joomla shop and ELEMIS and Eleganza that I'm going to talk later about. We have more than 110 confirmed Magento PWA Studio based storefronts and more than 150 other storefronts that are still in development and used as a demo stores. This is the data that we pull from the build with, and we continue following that information. And every month we see more and more stores added to that report. There are 30 plus extensions that are optimized for their use on the PWA storefront. Currently, they are delivered through the third-party marketplaces, and this number is continuously growing. And eventually, this is something that Magento Marketplace is going to support. And we make sure that the integration between the PWA Studio, Storefronts, and Marketplace to enable the seamless installment of those extensions. We are proud to say that the community around the PWA Studio is really strong, and we are doing our best to embark those developers who are completely new to the PWA technology and help them to start with the PWA Studio. So we host regular weekly community calls where we share the product updates and help to answer the questions that developers have around the PWA Studio and encourage the community to contribute back to the product. So none of that obviously would be possible without the help of the partners, who basically you see a lot of launches that were possible only with the hard work of partners such as Quora, Experience, and many others. So let me switch gears and talk more about the case studies. So the first one is the ELEMIS, which is a leading skincare brand that was recently acquired by L'Oreal. When they were thinking of the next move to upgrade from Magento 1, they saw that more than 80% of their clients actually come in through mobile devices, but the conversion rate on mobile devices were significantly lagging behind. And they were looking into options to optimize that experience on mobile and improve the conversion rate. And the options that they've been considering were either building the native app or to use the PWA to deliver the same code across the devices, but at the same time ensure that the experience that is delivered is engaging and optimized for all of the devices that customers are using. So ELEMIS has chosen the PWA as an answer to that question, and they partnered with Quora to deliver the native app experiences across the channels. And the results that they've shared before and after launching the PWA basically were above their expectations. So they've seen 150% increase in the mobile transactions and more than 85% in increase in mobile conversion rate compared to the previous year when they were still using the traditional storefront. Another example of the website built with the PWA Studio is Eleganza, the well-known high-end fashion retailer in Netherlands. They are selling brands such as Versace and Michael Kors. And again, facing the end of life of Magento 1, they consider embarking the on PWA technology as an opportunity to transform their mobile experience. They partnered with Experience to deliver the app-like shopping environment that focus on the ease of use. And the results that they seen up to date is just impressive. Oh, hold on. So they share that they've seen a 76% increase in the page views and 23% increase in average page load time, and more than 300% faster server response time. So as I am wrapping up, I want to talk more about the most recent updates and what is coming next with the Venia. So Venia is the PWA-based storefront that uses the components that part of the PWA Studio, and since we started Venia, it transformed a lot from just reference storefront into more of a ready-to-use solution that enables basic shopping scenarios, and we are working on adding more and more use cases supported with Venia out of the box. So if you haven't already, I encourage you to play with Venia at veniamagento.com and see how it changed over time and follow the updates that we basically deliver with every release of PWA Studio. And speaking of the releases, we already have 2 releases this year. The first one was in April, where we delivered the multi-store support and desktop optimization for the mega menu, and the new extension points to the checkout with the ability to hook up the new payment methods in a completely different way. So when you think of upgrading the checkout for the new PWA versions, that enables much smoother and less hassle during the upgrade. And the most recent update to the PWA Studio is very recent. So basically yesterday, we released PWA Studio version 11 with the full featured support of the wish list and the optimization for the desktop on layered navigation and various quality improvements. And this is obviously not where we're gonna stop. And this year we're gonna focus on enabling smooth and seamless design and developer workflow with their theme and with the support of the theme and functionality, which basically enables to style PWA-based storefront in a flexible way and apply different styling across different scopes that will enable scenarios like B2B and B2C storefronts run on the same Magento instance and the same PWA storefront. And big focus obviously remains on growing the feature set that we support out of the box with Venia. So current focus is to add ability to shop for products on a product listing page with the add to cart button available across the product listing pages. And later on, we're gonna add the swatches support for the product listing pages as well. So different product types can be browsed and configured and added to the cart by passing the product detail page. That basically streamlines the shopper experience and navigates shoppers straight to the shopping cart. Also, we're gonna add the support for the custom product attributes and enable scenarios of configuring and adding custom product attributes to the areas like product detail page, to the layered navigation, to the product listing, and use that for the sorting on the product listing pages as well. The big focus for us on this year remain on the performance optimization, and this is something that we are actively looking at to enhance the cumulative layout shift and introduce some of their content pre-rendering and page builder content optimization. So this is something that we anticipate would be very valuable in the light of the Google to recognize the shopper experience as the key point of ranking and ranking the stores in the search result.
Wow, thank you very much, Ms. Olena. I'm looking at a very comprehensive timeline here. Apparently that Adobe already has all of these plans. I was personally very curious and wanted to ask that, but I guess you've already provided all the very necessary information, and we're really kickstarting the day with laying the ground about PWA and headless commerce. Thank you very much, Ms. Olena, once again for providing us with this presentation. And I see we actually have a couple of questions. A couple of people are actually asking, but since we're going to have to move to the next session, not to worry, we created this online conference platform to make sure that you can interact with our speakers, with fellow attendees. So be sure to visit the lounge area, visit our virtual booths, and just interact with fellow attendees to get the additional insights that you are curious about. Once again, thank you, Ms. Olena, for the very comprehensive presentation.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.